Hello, children. Welcome to the English class. Let us continue from where we left. We were studying the chair. Okay. In the last class, I had given you the introduction as well as we have started off, and we were at a very crucial point. What was the crucial situation there? There was a village in which there was no chair at all in any household. In the household of our story, there was a seater with three legs, and therefore, sitting on that was a real risky task for most people who are not acquainted with it. And whoever sat on it without proper preparation, they were toppled over from the three-legged seater. And therefore, it was a very important thing for the household to look for another better arrangement, that is a chair. When they were thinking about it, there was another incident that was occurring in that house. They had a visitor, a sub-judge, who had come as their guest. And what the people did, they had nothing else to offer to make the person sit because he was in his coat, suit and boot and all that. And so they offered him the three-legged seater, and the man, before getting prepared how to sit on it, he simply sat and he fell off. He was also a very fat person, and therefore when he fell from the seater, the children of the household, they all laughed and they ran out of the house, and then they were giggling till their heart contented. So the household, the elders of the house, they felt very embarrassed, and therefore it was decided they should immediately go in for a chair, for making a chair. So the household got together and they were having the discussion, and it was agreed that they invite a carpenter to do the job. But there too they had a problem. That was, there was no carpenter in their village who knows how to make a chair. And therefore what happened, they were wondering and they were worried. At that moment, the aunt of the house, she told them that there was a person in their neighboring village who was famous for making chairs. So it was decided they would send for this man who would come and make the chair for them. Now, the carpenter issue was settled, but then, now, out of which wood they should be making this chair? This was the next thing in their agenda. So each one was giving his own or her own version. At that time, the grandma of the house, she came out with a choice. She said that this chair should be made out of teak wood, because teak wood is sturdy, strong, and it was also light and beautiful, shining. So all these reasons made teak wood their choice. And at that moment, as they were talking, there was the maternal uncle coming into the house. Earlier the aunt had come, now the maternal uncle is coming in, and immediately Petana, he went and fetched that three-legged seater once again for the uncle. Right? But before he could sit on that, the household once again started laughing. Everyone was totally immersed or spluttered in giggles. Spluttered means immersed or fully taken over by giggles, laughter. Okay. Why? Because every time you saw that three-legged seater, the remembrance of the event of that great figure falling from, toppled over from the seater came to their mind and they started laughing. So, now what happened? We are beginning the new part today. So, with the arrival of the uncle, there was a new situation in the house. And normally, when the uncle came, he never looked for a chair or something. He sat in one corner. Okay, I'm continuing reading. I'm on page number. You can look into your textbook. Okay, Mamanar himself had chosen a spot to sit whenever he visited our house. Chop off his head, and he would still sit there and nowhere else. Okay. In Tamil expression, it is that even if you cut his head off, he would not change the place. He would sit in exactly in that same place all the time and reclining on the pillar. Okay. He would lean against the pillar adjoining to the wall to the south of the storeroom. The first thing he would do as soon as he sat down was to loosen his tuft. Tuft is actually the bunch of collection here. The tuft is the bunch of his hair, usually put as a knot. Tamilla kondainu solluvaanga mudinju vechirukkiradhu kudumi. So as soon as he sat down, in a manner of relaxation, he would dishevel his tuft, okay, and then he would scratch, shake, and loosen it full, making himself comfortable. That is how. Normally, when we go out, we go in one form. When we come home, home is the place where one feels very comfortable and free, and therefore he wants to let loose himself, and therefore he starts with his head and he loosens. The first thing he would do as soon as he sat down was to loosen his tuft, give it a good shake, scratch his head, and tie it back tightly. Okay, after loosening it, he would scratch it and then he will tie it once again very tightly. That is his ritual. He observed this ritual unfailingly. He observed this ritual. It was a regular custom, and therefore he was doing it without failing. Then he would inspect the floor around him. Didn't see any money falling from your head? And I would say with an impudent smile. Okay, he would be looking around as if he was searching for something. Immediately somebody makes a comment and says, well, no paisa fell from your hair, right? Nothing could be seen around. That was the impudent smile. With an impudent smile, impudent means mischievous, okay, mischievous, mocking. Normally these things are very common in the household when there is lots of love and affection. We brag one another, we pull at one another, we make fun of each other, and this kind of an atmosphere makes the whole place a joyful place for living. Okay, so such a family was this family. And normally what happened to this uncle was that he would be bombarded with questions, right? He would always be pierced with such paper arrows whenever he visited us. He would sit mum with a smile like a stone pillayar, as if to say, you are my relatives. If you don't tease me, who will? When our ridicule overstepped the limits, Amma would pretend to chide us. The last word always ended in you donkeys. Okay, normally in our household, the children, they play pranks over the elders and they make fun, especially if it is an uncle or aunt or some distant relatives who are very familiar and who are very jovial. We take much more advantage with them. But then sometimes when we cross our limits, usually the mother comes in by way of scolding. It's not scold actually, it is actually a kind of rebuke, trying to remind us the limit up to where we can go. And the hardest form of scolding she could give was calling these little children as you donkeys. You see, scolding doesn't mean you need to be giving harsh words, but even in that scolding, if there could be little bit of joviality, that could be enjoyed, and that is how, right? Here, the last word always ended in you donkeys. That is how mother scolded him. As soon as Mamanar sat down, Amma went towards the kitchen. Like a lamb, Appa followed her. In a while, Amma appeared in the passage, a silver tumbler of buttermilk seasoned with asafoetida in her hand, followed by Appa, who, unseen by her, ate her movements for our benefit, as if to say, her brother has come, it seems, look at her taking buttermilk for him with so much care. The aroma of the buttermilk and the asafoetida made us want to drink it right away. Okay. Amma of the house is really the person who takes care of the guest. And here the Mamanar is the brother of Amma has come. And definitely she'll be having little extra care for him. Whenever he visits, Amma would go and fetch him a silver tumbler full of buttermilk with the added ingredient of asafoetida, which gives a good flavor to it, and then which makes the people to have an appetite to drink it immediately. Now, when Amma was about to do this, Appa was following her. He was also in it, but then he would make fun of her from behind without her knowing it, that she is taking too much care of her brother. So these are small little amusing moments of the household. And the children enjoyed it. They were watching it. The kind of amicable love and affection that was going on among the elders, as well as that is going to be permeated through the better relationship of the children, so that the family lives a happy life. All right. So here that is being explained. As soon as Mamanar sat down, Amma went towards the kitchen. Like a lamb, Appa followed her. Like a lamb. Right? If you say it in Tamil, அம்மா உள்ளே போகும்போது அப்பா ஆட்டுக்குட்டி போல பின்னால் போனார். Right? You see a kind of amusing aspect there. So, what did she go there? She went to fetch her buttermilk for Anna, her Anna, that is the Mamanar, for the children. So when she came back, she always had a silver tumbler full of buttermilk, and it was spiced with asafoetida, which gives the attractive smell for the people to drink it immediately, kind of a thirst for it. Okay, good. We believe that Mamana visited us mainly to drink buttermilk. The children, they make pakka remarks. Why does this man come all the time? He is so particular about drinking buttermilk, and therefore he visits us. So that is how they are making a comment. But then it should be understood from the lighter heart. Right? Children make comments. Okay. We believe that Mamana visited us mainly to drink buttermilk. The buttermilk from our cow was that divine. Okay. The buttermilk was so good because it is made in the house from their own cow, and therefore it is a divine, she calls it. Okay. Besides, we thought our uncle was the stingiest person in the village. Okay. Uncle is the stingiest person. Stingiest means miserly, right? A person who is a miser, means someone who is afraid of spending. Now, if he has to buy buttermilk, he might have to spend, but now he is not going to buy. Instead, he would pay a visit to his sister's house to have a cup of buttermilk. So, this is the version given by the children. Okay. So, he is the stingiest person in the village. We firmly believed he never gave away anything to anyone. So they summed up. This uncle is the stingiest man. He never spends anything, and he would neither give anything to anybody in that village. So this is how they concluded. He himself had gone to Kannavaram to buy this famed black-tongued milk cow to his sister. Right? So, now the reason comes out. The brother goes to Kannavaram to buy this special cow, milk cow, for his sister. That is Amma. And now, whenever he visits, he has a particular idea of drinking buttermilk from this best cow that he had bought for his sister. He claims it as his right. Okay. My younger brother and sister doted on its calf. Okay. My elder brother, younger brother and sister. The narrator and his brother and sister, they had an affection. Dotted means affection, fond of. Okay. This cow. Okay. Whenever he came over and just before he left, he always went around the cow, gave it a pat, and uttered words of praise, even if he was thrifty with them. My little siblings always had this big fear that once the milk dried up, the cow would be taken away to his house along with the calf. Okay? So, uncle, whenever he came, he had his buttermilk and all that, but before he left the house, he went and saw the cow and the calf, patted it, and said a few nice things about it. Though there also he is not stingy. He wouldn't say too much, but he would say words of praises and then he would go. And the children thought, once the milk stops, then probably this man is also going to take away the cow and the calf with him. So they were a bit afraid. The anticipation of this imagined separation only increased their fondness for the calf and their bitterness towards Mamanar. Okay. This thought, what is the thought? That once the cow stops giving milk, Mamanar might take away the cow and the calf. This is an assumption. The children are thinking that way. So, that was going to be an expected separation. Alright? Anticipation. I don't know when it's going to happen, but definitely he's going to take it away from us. So, the children felt that, and therefore they had more affection towards this cow and the calf. Okay? The anticipation of this imagined separation only increased our fondness for the calf and their bitterness towards the Mamanar. Whenever he relished the buttermilk, these children punched and pinched with their stares, very stares. Right? When Mamanar came, whenever he had this buttermilk, the children were piercing him. are pinching him with their look. பார்வையாலேயே தொலைச்செடுக்கிறதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க தமிழில், ரைட்? With their look of disapproval, they were hating him. Well, Mamanar showed interest in the debate about the chair. He let it be known that he too would like one to be made for him. We too were glad to have a partner in this enterprise. Alright, now up to now we had an introduction about the Mamanar, that is mother's brother, the maternal uncle for the children. Now he has come, he has had his regular buttermilk, and now he joins them in the discussion of chair making. Now he opts out and says that he too wanted a chair made for himself. So that would make 2 chairs. And therefore everybody liked it, because one more person to join them in the venture would be beneficial. Enterprise is the business, alright? The business of making chair. Now one more person is going to join them, so they will be making 2 chairs. Mamana said that the neem tree was the best. It would keep the body cool. Earlier, Grandma had said teakwood would be the best. But now, Mamanar says that neem wood would be the best because it would keep the body cool. When he expounded on the neem tree, Appa looked at him with a round-eyed astonishment. Right? Mamanar, when he was explaining the choice of a neem tree, he was giving a great explanation about all the good qualities of using neem wood. Right? He was expounding. Expounding means explaining in elaboration. And even Appa was looking at him with astonishment, because he didn't know so many good things were there in using neem wood. Okay. When he expounded on the neem tree, Appa looked at him with round-eyed astonishment. Only the day before, Appa had been talking to a farmhand about cutting down an ancient diamond-hard neem tree in our cattle pasture and laying it out to dry. Bethana said, making it out of poor's wood would be really good. It is a fine-grained wood without knots and glossy and strong too. So now the third option is also coming about. First, Grandma told of making the chair out of teakwood. When uncle came, maternal uncle, when he joined in the talk, he thought of making the chair in neem wood. Now, Bethana, he says, poor's wood would be much better because it is smooth without knots and all that, and it is also very soft and fine-grained. Glossy and strong too. Glossy, very shiny and strong. So these are the aspects they are stressing upon. First of all, it has to be sturdy, it should be strong, it should be shiny and smooth, lasting. All these aspects are being said, and each tree had been discussed. Our elder sister said, all these are light-colored woods, ugly to look at. After a while, we will begin to even detest them. I am saying it will be the best to make it the color of ripe sugar cane or dark like sesame oil cake. But it's your wish. Okay? So, when all the others have said their opinion, their elder sister comes out with a new choice. She says the light-colored white wood will become dirty, and after sometimes all of us would dislike it. Detest means dislike it. And therefore, it would be better to have in a ripe sugarcane color, okay, dark, or sesame oil cake. Sesame oil cake is actually sesame grains you have seen. Yellow ரெண்டு சொல்லுவாங்க. எள்ளு பின்னாக்கு கருப்பு கலரில் இருக்கும். Okay, so he says sesame oil cake color, right? Make share with that, so it will not look very odd even after long years. Otherwise, the white wood really becomes dirty and it will be detested by us. But then she doesn't say that is how they have to make it. She says it's your choice. I'm only giving you a suggestion. Okay. The vision of a highly comfortable chair in black wood with a mirror-like gleam, with perfectly shaped front leg and curved back legs, yawning languorously to match recline of the chair, flashed before our eyes. Okay, finally they decided the black color, and even before the chair could be made, in their mind they are having a kind of a vision how beautiful this chair is going to be, right? It is going to be in black wood with a mirror finish gleam, with perfectly shaped legs and curved back legs, and for any person reclining and relaxing, it would be the perfect chair, and that comes to their mind. Everyone felt that she was right, so it was arranged for 2 chairs to be made immediately, one for us and the other for Mamanar. So finally they decided to make 2 chairs, one for their household and another one for their Mamanar. Now, have they settled with the problem? And now starts the very important trouble for them. Until then they had one kind of a difficulty, but now with the arrival of the new chair, new difficulties come their way, and how did they face it? Did they like it? Did they overcome their difficulty? That is to be seen in our next class. Until then, I take leave of you. Please continue your reading. Loud reading is the best, and hear your own voice. Articulate your words and then read it out loudly. Take time, give at least 15 to 20 minutes for reading your textbook. Good children, see you in the next class.